I started learning Japanese in April of 2022. It is now currently October 2024. So it's now going on 3 years since I started learning Japanese, since I've gone and taken this huge step into trying to conquer this seemingly impossible task of not only learning a foreign language, but also learning one of the hardest languages for an English speaker, a native English speaker, to try and learn. And so, well, how's it going? That is what this video is about. It's just a sort of short, rambly video about how it's been going. And, kind of spoiler, this is the first one I've done on this channel of this update. It has not been great. For the longest time, I had just really been stalled. I think a big issue and something that I still need to really work on is I need to really set goals. I need to keep myself on track with goals. Otherwise, it's just, even if they're unrealistic, otherwise I'm just sort of lost in the void, So that is something that I definitely need to work on. And what I mean by I had sort of gotten lost or disillusioned, which, this stuff is bound to happen. But I was just barely doing my Anki flashcards, which is my spaced memorization program that I use called Anki. I'm sure many of you know it. I was just barely doing that, and just sort of not really taking it as seriously as I should. A lot of the times I would miss a couple days, and therefore that would make me, when I was like, okay, I need to do my Anki, I would get back into it, and then I would just sort of, click, through them real fast because I let the cards pile up. So it was this stupid cycle that, rationally to yourself, it's like, come on, this is stupid. If you don't do it every single day, then not only are you decreasing the amount that you learn, but also you're making it harder for yourself when you actually do end up doing it, the flashcards, that is. And in terms of the amount of input that I was actually getting every day, it was very, 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 very little. I mean, I'm talking like sub half an hour, even if that, honestly. And it's just, this is something that I've always kind of struggled with in these past, going on 3 years, however long it's been, is I really struggle to push myself to listen to that native Japanese content. The approach that I'm taking to learning this language, it's all, of course, self-taught. And the way that I'm learning is sort of an approach where you take in as much Japanese input as possible. So as much Japanese YouTube, movies, anime, whatever, podcasts, music. And you basically try and build up a framework, a base level of understanding of how the language should sound and how people talk, and then you'll fill in the gaps as needed from there. That's a really oversimplification. There's a million different YouTube videos on input learning languages. I do really feel that it is the best way, especially compared to a classroom. So if you're not inputting, the whole sort of structure that this learning style is built around falls apart. And that's basically where I was for a long time. And I'm not going to say that I'm out of that, because it's really only been like a couple weeks where I've really started to go hard at it again. And I've done this before. I've literally done challenges where I've only listened to Japanese for a month, and it was fine. Like, I was fine. It was perfectly doable. And I came away from that experience like, yes, I certainly can do this. It's not that hard, and I can enjoy this stuff. I think a reason why I have such a difficult time with it is because I really enjoy all the English speaking content that I enjoy on a regular basis, with a combination of also, it is much easier to watch that VTuber clip with subtitles, or that new episode of anime with subtitles. And I feel like that's probably something I will continue to struggle with, but you just have to kind of work at that until you're over that first hill in learning the language, to where that becomes less and less and less of an issue, and then you're not even thinking about it. So I think that's another thing I really need to work on, and that I'm having an issue with. I just got back from Japan it was like mid-September, late September of this year, and it really just further cemented my love for this culture, my love for this language. I really want to learn it, and there's just so many reasons why. I want to be able to, when I go back to Japan again, I don't have to worry about sounding an idiot, or when I have a few other acquaintances that are learning, and, the competitive side of me wants to, learn it faster than them and learn more than them. And, for better or for worse, unfortunately, it is probably for worse. My whole family kind of knows I'm doing this now. So there's sort of that want. This isn't in a bad way, but there's sort of a want to live up to the expectations and continue along with it. I wouldn't call this pressure. I don't really feel any pressure from that, but I want to, who doesn't want to impress the people around them with a skill that is quite difficult, something that they couldn't imagine doing, which unfortunately is the case for a lot of Americans. Learning a second language is kind of out of this. Learning a second language is kind of out of the realm of possibility for so many people, which is half the schooling system's fault. But I digress. So lately, I have been really solid with the Anki. Like I said, it's only been a couple weeks, but I have been pretty solid with it. My flashcards, I should say. I think what really works best for me is doing it, when I first wake up. That was something that really helped me when I was doing online college. I did far, 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 far better in online college than I ever did in any other schooling before that. And it was because I had sort of a set schedule, like, okay, first hour, hour and a half, whatever, 2 hours, I just do my work for the day, set out a little schedule, and then just do that work, and I'm done. I'm free for the rest of the day. I think that part really helps me. The listening, the watching anime, the watching Japanese YouTube is not that hard. It really isn't. You can kind of sneak that in throughout the day. But the Anki is sort of the thing where I really need to do it beginning of the day and form that habit. I've always had such a big issue with habits in my life. It's been bad. Forming / breaking habits is very, very difficult for me. Unfortunately, I just don't have that drive like some people do, I guess. I don't know. And I am getting quite a bit of Japanese input in right now. It helps that this season of anime is quite good, and, there's some stuff that I can watch here and there. I've always gotten really burnt out on anime. It's not really a reliable source of input for me, but, it is what it is. I don't know. Right now, I'm kind of still pessimistic about it, but I do really want to learn, I really, really want to learn. And I think maybe a good goal to start out on is like, okay, in 6 months, I should start sentence mining. And that's going to be a big step for me because that's going to be a lot to set up, and it's going to be adding more workload to my Anki. But I really think I should do it. I think it's something that, definitely helps you. It's basically flashcards, but for whole sentences, sentences that you create, sentences that you get from, various material that you are learning from, various material that you are constantly listening to. So if there's a sentence they're like, wait, what does that mean? Or like, how is this being used? You can, really quickly add it to your deck of flashcards and, do that. You go through those flashcards every day in a spaced repetition sort of pattern. So I think that is a good thing that I should set my goal for. I really I don't know. I'm not letting it eat at me too much. But for most people, if they really stay focused, by 2.5, 3 years, you've really gotten a good basis of the language, and most people will be past that sort of hill that I described earlier, where in the beginning it's a struggle to listen to things and enjoy them, which I don't know, it's tough to tell where you are, right? I wouldn't say that I know nothing. There's definitely content that I can pretty confidently understand 90 plus even percent of what they're saying, but it's still just, it's not where I should be, technically. Learning a language is different for everyone, and also I think a lot of the times people miss their goals or overestimate their abilities in language learning. So it's normal to not be where you're at. Actually, that's kind of the joke, is that you'll never be where you want to be. But in my particular case, I think it's more so like that because I've been doing this for such a long time, but I've really just been coasting through it. So, yeah, this is sort of a motivation talk video, my struggle for motivation and my little journey with Japanese. It's something that I really hope that I can learn, and I mean, I won't even use the word master, but something that I can at least be happy with. I don't know. We'll see. Goodbye.